If you give a man the power to feed you, you also give him the power to starve you.
It is abso-fucking-lutely delusional to depend on a man for financial security.
Welcome to the Tally Press. Today we're looking at something women keep circling back to: financial independence. Let's hear from women, all coming at this from completely different angles, different ages, different situations, and see if you notice the same thing I did by the end.
Once a woman gives up financial independence to a mate, it's over. You have to be prepared, because if you're not prepared, then you're stuck. And more women have to accept lifestyles that are unpleasant because they are financially stuck. So if you're smart, you teach your daughters, teach your granddaughters. Everybody has to have something that they're good at where they can earn a living.
I wonder how many women watching this had mothers or grandmothers who quietly accepted something like this because they genuinely thought they had no alternative. And I think that's exactly why this conversation matters with younger women early. If the cycle keeps repeating, eventually someone in that family line has to be the one who breaks it. And that's not a small job. That person isn't just building something for themselves. They end up lifting the people around them too.
If you give a man the power to feed you, you also give him the power to starve you. Let me say it again for the people in the back. If you give a man the power to feed you, you also give him the power to starve you. Because every woman who's been controlled by a man learned this the hard way. The minute your survival depends on him, your opinion depends on him too. Your voice gets quieter. Your standards get lower. Your tolerance for disrespect goes through the roof because deep down, you're scared. Scared he'll cut off the lifestyle. Scared he'll cut off access. Scared he'll cut off the kids, so you stay.
If someone controls your access to money, they can control far more than just your spending. That's the part that stays with me. And it doesn't even have to be a man. It can be family. It can be anyone holding that leverage.
Something that genuinely scares me is women financially depending on a man. I just wasn't raised that way. I was raised to be a boss freaking bitch. And I don't think women realize how dangerous it is to financially depend on a man. If you have nothing of your own, you're going to be less likely to leave if something bad happens. They cheat on you, they become abusive. You think you know the person that you're with, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes that person can change. You don't know what's going to happen a year from now, 5 years from now, even tomorrow. You don't know. Somebody can change with a flip of a switch. Then what? You probably don't want to leave because you have nothing. You have nothing to your name.
This isn't actually obvious to every woman. A lot of women genuinely believe going through a man is just how it's supposed to work, and it's hard to exist outside of that when it's what you've been shown your whole life. And if you were raised in a more traditional setting, it can take real, deliberate work to unlearn that. That's not a judgment on anyone. It's just true.
I saw a girl come on here and do a video saying that you should never financially depend on a man. And she labeled the video as controversial take. And the comments were proving that they thought it was controversial for her to say that. Like, wait a minute. Y'all are still financially relying on a man, even though we're literally seeing how fickle and dangerous that can be. Like, they were in the comments like, oh, yes, this could be true, but I know my man. I trust him. I've been with him since high school. I've known him for years. Why would you ever rely financially on one person? Anything could happen. It don't have to just be like, oh, he cheats and, put you through financial abuse, but that's most likely what's gonna happen.
I genuinely wonder sometimes if people arguing against this actually think he shouldn't spend on her at all, or if they've just misunderstood the point completely. There's this weird flattening that happens in these conversations, like saying, don't depend on him, automatically means he shouldn't provide anything, ever. Those aren't the same thing.
So here's something a lot of women, especially moms, might not want to hear, but it's the truth. Financial dependence absolutely changes the dynamic of power in a relationship, even in good relationships, even if no one's abusive, even if no one's controlling. If one person earns more and the other pauses to raise children, that creates leverage. And we don't like talking about leverage in relationships and in marriage because it sounds unromantic, but money absolutely shapes decision making. It decides who can leave, how quickly they can leave. It decides who has the negotiating power and who can push back. Love does not remove leverage.
She says this really well. Power dynamics exist everywhere, not just in relationships. I've worked in healthcare, and even there, you have to actively watch for it. And here's the thing. In that setting, there was an actual incentive for me to keep working against that dynamic. Even if I wasn't naturally a good person about it, there was money attached to it, real consequences if I didn't follow through. So when a man holds that kind of power in a relationship, what's actually incentivizing him to stay aware of it? There's no paycheck riding on it. No one's checking.
When you have your own money, a man cannot impress you with material things. They have to prove that they are a good person. When you can fund your own life, everything shifts. You've already taken yourself to all the Michelin-starred restaurants. You've already booked the trips, first class, mind you. You've already bought the things you like. You have the jewelry, you have the bags, you have the shoes. So when a man comes in and promises you these things, it's not impressive. I have that. I did that for myself already. It's just normal. You're used to it. And that's very important because it removes the illusion. You're not choosing based on access, on what this person can give you. You're choosing based on his character. What type of person is he when things are hard, when things get stressful, when you're pregnant? What type of father will he be? A lot of us don't realize how much money will affect our standards. If you haven't experienced certain things in life, it's so easy to be impressed by them. But once you've built your own life, the baseline changes completely. I'm not saying we should be rejecting generosity. I'm saying that we should not let that control us. Independence gives you the most clarity. You can actually ask yourself, do I like this person or do I like what they're providing? And when you can provide your own lifestyle, the mist of the material things clears and you can start asking the real hard questions.
This is so true. If you've never even had the basics, a plate of food starts to feel like a luxury. And once your baseline is that low, imagine what that does to your self-esteem, moving through the world around people who've never had to think about that. It shapes what you think you're even allowed to want.
I need to be really clear on something. A man paying for dates and taking you out and treating you well is not the same thing as financial dependence on a man. I'm all for men who want to take me out. They want to take me out to dinner, take me out to a show. They want to pay for the whole thing, plan the whole thing. Baby, let's go. I love that. Financial dependence, no. I have a job. I've been a stay-at-home wife before. I would not do it again. Generosity and romance. Yay! Losing your autonomy because you don't want to be responsible for yourself as an adult, so you're financially dependent on a man. No! A man paying for your rent while you literally have no job and no bank account and no money of your own? Boo, no! A man paying for your rent while you still have a job and your own bank account and your own money? Yay, how nice! Don't conflate the two. Okay, a man paying for things is not inherently the same thing as financial dependence on a man.
Whether a couple combines their finances completely or divides responsibilities differently isn't really the point this video keeps raising. The real question is, if life changes unexpectedly, does she still have options? Keep the word options in mind. It comes up again near the end of this video.
The other day, I was at the store and I was quickly reminded of why I will never be 100% financially dependent on a man, or any person for that matter. I was in Sam's Club and this gentleman was next to his wife, and his wife picked up this shirt and said, "Honey, isn't this shirt nice?" And he responded, "I remember when all of these clothes were significantly cheaper. Things are so overpriced. How much is it?" She said, $10. He said, "I'm not paying $10 for that." My heart literally broke because you could tell the power dynamic in their relationship was so off kilter, and he was abusing his power with just the tone of voice he was speaking to her with.
The tone of her voice stood out to me. Maybe she's just trying to avoid an argument, or maybe I'm reading too much into it. But it made me uncomfortable. It always comes down to price when the person paying isn't the one who actually needs the thing.
If my husband left me tomorrow, I would be fine. I have a house in my own name, I have a really good job, I'm really successful, I'm happy, and I do everything that I can do to be independent in my own right. Do I love being looked after? Yes. Does he spoil me? Yes. Does he pay my bills? Yes. Does he take me on amazing holidays? Yes. But what do I have that he cannot ever take away? My education, my house, my stability, my livelihood. Never depend on anyone, especially not a man. If that man picks his things up tomorrow, you should be able to live on your own and not be destitute.
This is genuinely how it should look. Women shouldn't have to carry survival on top of everything else. If a relationship ends, that's already a lot to process emotionally. Having to also figure out how you're going to live, on top of that grief, that's a lot.
Imagine your husband cheats on you and you can't leave him because you're entirely financially dependent on him and you have kids and you haven't built your career and you haven't gotten an education. Imagine your husband is physically abusive, whether it's towards you or your children, and you can't leave him because you are financially dependent on him. Imagine a man telling you, "You are nothing without me," and overlooking all of your efforts and treating you horribly, and you can't divorce him because you are financially dependent on him. Or imagine another scenario. You do find the courage to leave him, but you still never built a career and never got an education. And now you are poor. You're working paycheck to paycheck. You're working full-time jobs to provide for your children. When your child gets sick, you don't have enough money to buy them medicine. You definitely don't have enough money to take them to the doctor. You can hear them coughing in the other room and so insanely sick. You live in an apartment that's worn down and has mold and has so many issues with it. You live in an area of the city that is dangerous and not safe for your kids. This is the life that radical traditionalists and red pill men try to shove down your throat. Nothing ever comes from a relationship where you are entirely dependent on another person. Nothing good ever comes from a relationship where there is a significant power dynamic, especially a financial one.
Every single scenario she just listed is a real story. Not rare, not extreme, just common. We all know someone.
Tell me why that it's December 23rd and there's nothing under the Christmas tree because the man with the keys to the bank account forgot that Christmas was coming. It's a special type of cruelty to keep someone in a house they can't leave, in a town with no transit, without a dollar to their name, and then watch the holidays roll in. He knows that I don't have a job and he's the only one with the car keys. He knows that our son's eyes are going to be looking for magic on Thursday morning, but he decided that the budget didn't include joy this year. Well, not for us anyway. See, the budget was big enough last month when he decided to purchase a $1,500 guitar amp. There was no struggle then. No talk of things being tight when it came to his music, his hobbies, and his noise. He can afford a $1,500 luxury for himself but can't afford a single toy for his son. He wants me to feel small. He wants me to sit in this quiet living room feeling like a failure as a mother, all because I can't provide the extras. He thinks by keeping me broke keeps me weak. He doesn't understand that the fact that I'm sitting here with nothing to wrap today is the exact reason why I'm studying the driver's manual tonight. That $1,500 guitar amp is going to be the soundtrack to my exit. The emptiness under the tree is just the fuel to my fire. He thinks that he's winning by showing me his power, but all he's doing is proving why I need to leave. I may not have a gift for my son this year, but I am working on the greatest gift I can ever give him, a mother who is free. He can keep his money. I'm keeping the plan. Christmas may be quiet this year, but the countdown has officially started.
These are his own kids, and he's still willing to do this. Kids feel it regardless. When you're depending on someone and other people are depending on you, that whole structure only holds up if the person at the top actually follows through.
So, as a mom of 6 kids who got divorced after 27 years and had my first child at 20 years old and was a stay-at-home mom, literally still to this day, I can tell you, to the little 19-year-old trad woman who says being a stay-at-home mom, she has no job, no money, no income, bad move. Bad move. Because when I got divorced, I had to actually put my divorce retainer on my husband's credit card. No, I'm not, my ex-husband. I'm not proud of that, but I had no access to money at all because I didn't work. And he used to tell me stuff like, you do work, you take care of our family. But at the end, he didn't believe that. So that only worked while it worked.
Some people only learn this through living it. And what strikes me is how often it's the same conclusion from women who've been on every side of this.
Don't ever let somebody control you with money. Somebody says, I'll take care of it, and I'll take care of you, and I'll take care of this. That person could leave. That person can hurt you. You always keep your job. Your job is your life insurance. My mom used to always say that to me.
Oh.
And my mom went through some tough stuff in a marriage with finances, really tough stuff.
Yeah.
And so did my grandma, not in the marriage, but in like a family structure.
And I like that she brings up family structure here too, not just marriage. A lot of these clips frame everything around men specifically, but this happens inside families as well, no matter what led to it. That same power dynamic shows up. What's expected of you, how you're treated.
And I have this past of women not being taken care of financially. And so I think,
Me too.
right? And it, as a little girl,
Yeah, it scars you, like literally. It's
it's
living
in me
inside me.
so deeply. And that's why I have a passion for helping women understand and also demystifying it, you know?
This is the one I mentioned earlier, the other side of that Christmas story. It's worth sitting with how much this shapes a person as a kid, watching it happen. It doesn't just disappear once you grow up.
I have been married, I've been divorced, I'm now re-engaged. One thing that I need to all women to know, no matter what, girls, it is so important for you to always have your own income. First marriage, I didn't do that. Was stuck for a little bit and it sucked. It sucks being stuck in a marriage that is, let me just say, not mentally good for you. I've seen marriages 20, 30 plus years in where the wives say, I had no idea he had that in him. And they're stuck. They don't have a way to get out. They don't have the finances to afford to live another life. So they are forced to live in these marriages that are miserable and make them depressed and unhealthy. Don't do that. Try to get your bag always, always. Even if it's a small little side hustle for now, invest. Make that money, girl.
People who've actually lived through this are the ones saying it.
I've seen the trend of girls saying, my man retired me. My man retired me at 22. My man. Okay, this is the thing. And I'm not even trying to sound like a hater. I'm trying to be like looking out for women. Do you mean that he put in your own account with only your name on it and an investment account because it needs to compound over time, and he put enough money that you are set for retirement, God forbid he leaves you tomorrow? Is that what you mean? Or I fear when I see it, it means like, oh no, I just like don't have to work again. Like those are two different things. Like, okay, he's currently providing your cost of living, like, so you don't have to pay for that. Or is it actually that you have hundreds of thousands in your own name, fully protected, he cannot touch it, and it is enough to compound over time in order to fully cover you and your lifestyle and taxes and everything you would need once you retire?
This is the option I mentioned earlier. If you decide that's the arrangement you want, it's worth thinking through every scenario, not just the best case one. If someone is asking you to give up your income, that's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. It deserves the same level of planning as buying a house or starting a business.
It's actually not that simple. Here's the top reasons you should never rely on a man for money. One, whoever controls your money controls you. As long as you stay within his desired image, young, thin, in a thong, your bills are paid. The second you're out of it, you're on your own. What happens then when things get bad? Money is the number one reason that women don't leave abusive relationships. Number two, you're spending his rules. He can question everything you spent or cut you off at any time. I've seen this happen to multiple friends with sugar daddies. Number three, divorce will be disastrous. Despite what Kanye would have you believe, women are 3 times more likely to end up in poverty after divorce than men. You know why? If you take time to stay home or raise kids, you're gonna have gaps in your resume, which leads to fewer job opportunities. When you're financially dependent, you're not spending money and building credit in your name, which means you don't have a good credit score, which means you can't rent an apartment or get a loan.
She actually gets into the bigger systemic side of this too. Wage gaps, credit history, all of it, in the full video, which I've linked below. What looks like a small individual situation actually ripples out and affects a lot of women the same way.
Ladies, this is your reminder to get the hell up and keep working so that you can have your own money and you can continue to talk to men however the hell you want.
This one's funny, but there's something real underneath it. Respecting yourself enough to not fawn, to say what you actually think.
It is abso-fucking-lutely delusional to depend on a man for financial security, and I don't give a fuck how many women get upset about it. It's the truth. Not my fucking words. Read the comment. There wouldn't be a chorus of women back up singing, chanting about the problem if it wasn't a fucking problem. If the stay-at-home mom, trad wife bullshit was so great, women would not have fought to change it. They wouldn't have fought. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So, sorry to break it to you, ladies. It's called manipulation and lies. Don't depend on a man for your fucking existence.
She's a former trad wife, and you can hear how much of this she actually feels, down to her core. To be clear, that's not saying nobody should choose that life. It's saying, whatever you choose, go in with your eyes open.
The question is not how do I marry a rich man? The question is how do I give myself everything that I am seeking from a man? That's the question that you should be asking yourself, because women are kind of brought up with this narrative that like this successful, wealthy, stable, noble man is going to come knocking on the door and rescue you from all of life's responsibilities. You are a grown, functioning adult. As a woman, you should be learning financial independence. You should be financially independent, okay? You should be learning financial literacy, okay? You should know how to take care of your finances, especially if you're in your kind of late 20s, 30s. You should be finding ways of making multiple streams of income. That is when you can start saying, you know what? I need a man that is like either on my level or above my level. Because a lot of you say, I want a high value man, I want a high net worth man. You need to be high value, okay? You have to understand, a lot of these wealthy people are marrying wealthy people, okay? It's just human behavior. In psychology, we flock to people who are familiar to us. That's why a lot of rich marry rich. A lot of rich families will only accept rich families.
The best thing I ever did as a military spouse was make more money than my husband. Let me repeat that. The best thing I ever did as a military spouse was not be his dependent. You need to be financially independent enough that you can financially walk away the minute you're disrespected, because that day will come in most marriages where you will have to make the decision on staying or leaving. And do not let the only reason you stay be because of financial dependency. This is not a shame to stay-at-home moms. I love that for you, and I love that especially for your kids. Do not make the mistake of being financially dependent on another person. I know people who are strictly married because they cannot leave financially. That should not be the reason you're staying.
Women keep saying this over and over in completely different words, from completely different lives. What surprised me making this wasn't that these women disagreed on marriage, work, or family. They disagreed on almost everything. The one thing that they didn't disagree on was this: whatever life you choose, make sure you still have options. Let me know which of these resonated with you the most.